Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Franchiro Toit, your naturopathic doctor and wellness coach. Today, we're going to be discussing how to restore your health and well being by delving into the intricacies of probably one of the biggest causes of harm to our bodies and our well being, disharmony within ourselves and community, and worldwide destruction of our soil systems. And it all started with the Industrial Revolution. But just to backtrack a little bit for all the new listeners, I was born in South Africa as a very ill child. And because of severe health challenges relating to my immune system, chronic middle infections, colic, leaky gut, sinusitis, and much more, I came to the point when I was 2 years old where um, my mother did not see the end of it, and I was not getting well. I was seeing doctors, I was going on to antibiotics, and none of the medical interventions was helping me. And from a place of courage and desperation, my mother decided to take me to see a homeopath, a type of natural medicine doctor, similar to a naturopath. And he looked at my diet and our lifestyle and our environment. And through the aid of natural remedies and lifestyle and dietary changes, he completely helped me over the course of a year to restore my health. And the ripple effects went through our family, where we started on a journey of natural medicine and a natural lifestyle that I'm fortunate to have been on for 34 years, coming into my 36th year this year of 2023. I trained to become a naturopathic doctor, and after 5 years of studying, I became a naturopath and started into clinical practice, which I have been in and of different roles for the last 11 years. And I can say with straight confidence that the natural way is the best way, and it has ripple effects that restores our health and well-being and can restore the planet that are just simply endless. Today, I want to be discussing one of the biggest causes of the health crisis that we're seeing globally. It's not only affecting your personal health and well-being, but it's also destroying the soil and destroying our earth. And the most modern form of what's caused this was brought about during the Industrial Revolution in America. Up until that stage, people were living a much more natural lifestyle, living in more isolated areas, living off the land, farming communities. The family unit was intact. The father was home, the mother was home, and the parents were taking care of their kids and raising them themselves, teaching them the way of how to care for the soil, care for nature, care for themselves, and have true community and family life. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, people were needed to work into the factory system, and we outsourced a tremendous amount of work to machines. And suddenly, what humans used to do, machines could do for us. But what we've learned is that even though this has led to tremendous scientific breakthroughs and progress in many areas, it's also wreaked havoc on community life, on a connection to nature, and also introduced wide-scale toxins and chemicals into our environments, into our soils, and into our bodies that are definitely wreaking havoc on our health and well-being. It's also led to something else because of the whole shift of people needing to live in concentrated areas in city life, and where so much work was being done in the factories and the different technologies that were being developed. Kids were shunted off to schools, and what we can consider to be the modern education system was born. And with it also, as with many things, advantages, disadvantages, focusing at this moment on the disadvantages, um, led to a brainwashing of our youth, a lack of creative thinking, a lack of exploring their personal identity, their unique identity, having to fit into a box, literally in a system that would train them up to be worker ants for the industrial system and for the use in all the technologies that were being developed. This is partly why the personal development revolution is upon us. And we're seeing more coaching industries and coaching services being launched than ever before in history, because people need to be taught how to live a productive and successful and healthy life. I myself am a wellness coach, and I can fully celebrate that the coaching industry is booming and how it's transformed my life. Myself, I have multiple coaches in my life, specifically a life coach that has transformed my life. And I'm going to be sharing some insights to guide you into how to overcome these challenges relating to how technology has harmed us and how we can actually take hands with technology to have it really serve us instead of us actually serving technology, being enslaved to technology. One of the crucial things that has happened is with the Industrial Revolution and many things that happened since the production on a wide scale from the pharmaceutical industry of chemicals has been that we overcame the barriers of how nature was in many ways a threat to us, the dangers, and we came to kind of like the full head of what I would word as that we have seen nature as the enemy. And we literally went into full on warfare with nature, as was the tendency for all of mankind's history, really, to be at nature, within yourself, with yourself, and with other humans. It also turned to a war on nature in and of itself. And we brought in a tremendous imbalance because when we look at natural systems, they go on and sustain themselves in and of themselves without needing any human intervention, having a natural intelligence that lets them grow and produce and give life. And with the advent of the Industrial Revolution and chemicals and toxins and air pollution and water pollution and disconnection from nature, we introduced a different type of law. It's the law of life versus death. And there's much more of the killing going on than life giving sources, which I'll delve into a little bit more and you'll come to understand what I'm trying to say. One of the things that was drilled into our mindset is that, for example, the sun is dangerous. If you go outdoors, it's said that the sun will cause skin cancer. The question I would ask is, has the sun always caused skin cancer, or is that just a symptom of a unhealthy body without enough sun exposure building resistance to the sun, and now our weakened and poor health has led to us being susceptible to harm from the sun? What does the sun actually do? The sun emits radiation that stimulates life and energy in every system that it encounters when there's balance, when there's, for example, a body that's healthy to handle it with enough skin resistance to handle the sun. One case in point, sunlight exposure on the human skin produces vitamin D. Now, the production of vitamin D actually counteracts and can protect the body and help to reverse cancer in the human body. So, if the main pain point of sun exposure is that it can cause skin cancer, well, much more cancers of every single type has been caused by a severe deficiency of vitamin D. Now, I'm a major advocate of taking vitamin D supplements. Now, all of us that have gone through, the COVID pandemic would and have done some homework and research would know that every single person that goes into the hospital with a low vitamin D level here in South Africa, our measurement system will be based on the following numbers. These are in the hundreds. It'll make sense for at least for us here in South Africa, but you can convert it to your own metrics. If your vitamin D level is between 20 and 30, especially if it's below 20, you are at the highest risk of dying and ending up in the ICU, especially as we've seen during the COVID pandemic. This is one of the, and from testing my patients over 11 years, 9 out of 10 patients actually are at that level of 20 to 30, just teetering on the brink. And there the laboratory ranges for what is optimal is just plain pathetic. We should be having vitamin D levels of between 40 to 80, actually always hovering at 80, because that is health, optimal health, and that is a preventative health strategy. Case in point, every single person that I've ever encountered needs to be on a vitamin D supplement. And even more importantly, slowly but surely, building up the resistance to sunlight so they can produce and absorb vitamin D into their bodies, convert it through the liver to the active form of vitamin D, and get where they need to be. One of the other things that has crept in through all of this misinformation is the germ theory, which has benefits and has tremendous disadvantages. Focusing on the disadvantages first here, we have only in recent years fully embraced the power of the microbiome, the different types of organisms, bacteria, viruses, fungi that live in the gastrointestinal tract. That is the cornerstone of human health. And research is escalating to discover that, these colonies of organisms that not only live in our gastrointestinal tract, but on our skin, in our lungs, in our mouth, the oral cavities, and all of this, these organisms need to be balanced, and they need exposure to many different strains of natural occurring organisms or germs for them to be in balance and to thrive. We need to get dirty. We need to be outdoors, and we need to be in contact with natural soil systems to inoculate, to supplement our natural bacteria. Everyone understands this if you've ever come across the benefits of probiotics. And we need to have natural probiotics, that is naturally occurring in nature and fermented foods, to build up and get ourselves dirty on all levels that actually leads to better health. And just saying it and wording in this way, you can understand how much disconnection we've had with ourselves and other people because of how the germ theory has manipulated our thinking. So what it comes down to is, yes, if you're a vulnerable individual with a low immune system, many different types of organisms or germs can combat your immune system in your body and can make you ill. But if you're never exposed to germs or bacteria or different viruses, how can you build a robust and healthy immune system? You need these natural exposures. You need to overcome them. And in a literal sense, what doesn't make you sick in this sense will make you stronger in the end. And there's many ways to make the body a thriving organism so that these germs then become a part of your own microbiome and your colonies of bacteria and viruses and fungi so that you're healthy and can maintain health. So one small example, just in relation to the tremendous fear we have for illness, and this is particularly now for children. If children do not go naturally through the different types of childhood illnesses, they actually are much more prone to developing severe illnesses as adults and much greater incidence of cancer because of the way the germs and the viruses and the bacteria actually switch on genetic pathways that build a robust and healthy immune system for the rest of your life, but specifically into adulthood. And the last, I've mentioned this in many different ways, how we see things that are dirty. We generally shy away from the topic of what happens when we go to the bathroom. And for our society, suddenly this whole topic about bowel movements and poo is just dirty. How did we get so confused to think that something that your body naturally produces, ideally every single day, if you're having a healthy bowel movement once or twice a day, which is essential. How have we been led to think that that which your body produces is inherently dirty? Does it mean that you are inherently dirty? For most of human, history, what's been produced by the body, as in a bowel movement or poo, has been considered to be a fertilizer for the soil. It helps grow things. It makes them healthier. It gives them nutrients. So let's think about these things and what has led our thinking to be so distorted. So, with the Industrial Revolution, we have a wide scale production of many, many, many different chemicals, especially as crop sprays, herbicides, pesticides, insecticides, larvicides, the list goes on. These are things designed to kill. And what we have done is we have sanitized the soil systems and our plants, and we are sterilizing it, making it infertile. And the reflection of what is being sterilized as the soil out there leads to a sterilization within our bodies, literally the soil within your body. In this sense, you can relate your microbiome with the organisms in your body or on your body as these either going to be a sterile environment, or a fertile environment. So, what is the condition of your soil? These are things we should be thinking about. And when we return to a thinking pattern of the laws of nature, we see that nature works in accordance with a system of abundance. When managed and taken care of correctly, it always produces more and gives back more than what we expect. You can listen and ask to and go Google or YouTube any documentary about natural soil systems, organic farming, especially permaculture, and bioregenerative farming methods. And this story will come back again and again and again. When we return to the natural way of caring for the soil, we put the minerals back in the soil. We have natural organisms, microbes, probiotic based strains, natural soil based organisms in the soil. We have non genetically modified plants that actually can absorb all the minerals in the soil. One of the consequences and direct interventions of genetically modified plants is that they cannot, even if it was in the soil, absorb all the minerals that are in there. They are capped in their ability to absorb minerals, meaning they can't produce nutrition in the plant. So, yes, we need heirloom or non GMO plants too. And then they need to go through all their natural cycles to produce what we want, the gold standard, which is medicinal plants, medicinal food from the soil. This is one of the reasons why it's so essential to return to a farming based community, support farmers markets, and co op ventures where people are growing and eating their own food. All of this being said, there's a mindset that is quite important to think about. And this is a quote that I picked up. So, it's better to be a soldier in a garden than a gardener in a war. So we want to be robust in our mindset, and we have to be strong to counteract a lot of the misinformation we're getting. So, yes, soldiers fight wars, and gardeners can actually create abundance. How can we get the best from both and actually then be maybe then that soldier in a garden, protecting what is sacred and what is essential for life on every single level, protecting our own health, creating healthy, sustainable communities and family life, and then also protecting our soil systems and our planet from destruction. All of this to tie into a summary: the healing power of nature. One of the foundational and, in fact, the first law or rule of naturopathy that we were taught, that we swore an oath to, is in Latin Vix Medicatrix Naturae, which roughly translated means the healing power of nature, but more holistically and widely described and better described as when the human body is placed in a natural environment, it will always return to a state of health, balance, and or homeostasis, and even or vitality, abundant and optimal health. So, what can we do to surround ourselves with more nature? Well, first of all, we need to rethink our relationship with technology. Are we slaves to technology, or is technology serving us? We need to spend time outdoors doing things that we love. And these are some ideas to start rounding off. Think about a holiday or a break or a weekend where you can go camping, or maybe go hike up a mountain, walk along a river, go into the forest, and even go swim in the sea. These are all things that will naturally lead to health and well being. Many people are frustrated and are anxious and have so much stress, bashing their head against the walls, trying to fix themselves and their nervous system. These things can be restored, and this is the medicine, this is the prescription, by simply going out into nature and learning to do nothing. You can call this meditation, you can call this quiet time, you can call this many different things. But this is the foundation or the soil of a healthily functioning nervous system, a well regulated, self regulated, and healthy nervous system. So here's the doctor's prescription for today. Probably the number one prescription that I give. Take regular doses of nature multiple times per day or multiple times per week. There are no side effects. There are no overdoses. There are only benefits. There is that one side of things. Yes, be sun smart. And I'm not saying using sunscreen, because sunscreen is quite toxic and it blocks the production of vitamin D nearly 100%. So, slowly but surely, get used to sunlight. If you're fair or white skinned, you need to take it slow. Dark colored skin or black skin can handle sun 3 or 4 times more than white skinned people. So go outdoors, find something that you love doing, learn how to play like a kid again, and take your dose of medicine and see how your health restores. This is Dr. Tua, your wellness coach, rounding off for today. I wish you life and peace and abundance, and I hope you're sharing this message with every single person that you know. And have an amazing, amazing day or evening ahead.